welcome back to another class here at Shiage Do Martial Arts. It's Wednesday and it's a beautiful day outside, so I hope you got your workouts done. Today is going to be a little bit of a shorter class just because I'm going to give you some projects and make you go work on them. Okay, so the first one we're going to do today is breakfalls. So breakfalls is something we do in class once in a while when we can get the mats out. If you guys are training at home, couch cushions, or if you've got mats for your floor, or if you've got pillows or whatever, you can get those to work. Okay, so we're going to do some breakfalls, we'll do some self-defense, and I got some combos for you to finish out the day. So to start, we're going to do some breakfalls. So the first one is probably the hardest one to do, and that's your front breakfall. So your front breakfall, basically what you are trying to do is land so that your whole forearm hits the ground at the same time, okay? So here's what that looks like, all right? If I start on my knees, you guys can start on your knees if you've never done these before or aren't comfortable with them yet. You're gonna take your hands, make a diamond shape, and what you're gonna do is get low, launch forward, and slap all together, okay? Now, when I land, again, I don't wanna land hands first, so I don't wanna be here. I don't wanna land elbows first, here, right? I wanna land with my whole hand. And here's the reason for that. If I land with my whole hand, I can spread the force out of my landing across a larger surface area, okay? Breakfalls are all physics. I wanna change my tree falling speed force, right? Because if I fall at an angle like this, I'll continue to speed up and change it into forward force. So instead of like a tree falling, I want to be a plane crash. All right, they both sound bad, but trust me, one's better than the other. No tree survives a tree crash, but people do survive a plane crash. So there you go. So if I do this from standing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get low, squat down, I'm going to shoot out straight, and when I land, I want just my toes and my forearms and my belt tips to be touching the floor. I don't want my stomach touching the ground at all, because if my stomach hits the ground, it's going to smash into the ground, it's going to feel really bad. If you're a guy, it's going to feel even worse. All right, trust me. So I get low, I go out straight, and hit the ground all at once, okay? So I'm going to be in kind of a push-up position. If you've got a pillow or a couch cushion or something, you can use that. This one's really the only one you need it for, okay? So if you want to try it from kneeling first a few times, do that. But once you get comfortable with that, try it from standing. You're going to start standing up, squat down, come out, all at once, slam into the ground, okay? Now, so that's your front breakfall. Have somebody watch you while you're doing this. Make sure your knees don't touch, your stomach doesn't touch, and your chest doesn't touch. If you touch with your chest and you go, huh, and you bounce your chest off the ground, that kind of negates the whole purpose of doing a breakfall. Breakfalls are designed to get you so that you hurt yourself at the least possible amount. All right. Now, front breakfalls are the most impact, I guess is the best way to put that. You feel the most impact, the hardest breakfall in terms of force, okay? So when you're doing this one, don't be afraid to put something down. Now, if you want to go outside and do this in the grass, that works really good too, especially right now, time of year, where the ground's kind of soft because it was raining last week. Whereas if you try to do it in August where the ground's rock solid, that generally hurts a lot more. So if you want to go try that, that's a good suggestion. But your assignment is 30 for kids and 50 for adults, front breakfalls. Okay, so make sure you get those done. The next one we're going to do is side breakfalls. Now, side breakfalls are my favorite, okay, because I think they're super easy. But there's a trick to them. The trick is sit on your heels, okay? So if I'm falling to the side, the first thing I want to do is get my foot out of the way to give myself a clear path, okay? The second thing I want to do is I'm going to sit on my opposite foot. So if I'm going this way, I'm going to sit on this foot. Okay? So I get my foot out of the way and I sit down. Then all I'm going to do is just let myself roll. Okay? I'm going to slap to kill my momentum so I don't roll over my over my shoulders onto my head. All right? So this one is really low force, and I know that because I can stop in the middle at any point. So I'm just going to get my foot out of the way, sit down, roll, and slap. Okay? To do that on the other side, I get my foot out of the way, I sit on my foot, roll, and slap. Now, to prove a point, I'm doing this on a hardwood floor. Okay? You can do this anywhere. This one works on asphalt, works on concrete, works on everything, and the whole purpose of it is so you don't get hurt. So you can even do it quickly. When I did judo for a little while, one of the things that I took from that was the exercise here for breakfalls, because in judo, breakfalls are everything, was we go back and forth. So it looked like this. You step up, like you're sweeping your foot out of the way with your hands. Sweep, sit, roll, stand back up. Sweep, sit, roll, stand back up. Okay? So, that's your assignment for this one. You're going to do 10 on each side if you're a kid. You're going to do 20 on each side if you're an adult. Now, realize the reason that we're doing so many of these is because sometimes you fall on the ground. When you fall on the ground, nobody practices falling on the ground unless you practice breakfalls. Right? So usually your gut reaction is to stick your hands out. Well, unfortunately, your gut reaction is literally the worst possible choice you can make. If I just stick my hand out, the chances of me breaking my wrist or my shoulder are very high, or damaging anything else. Right? You can damage all kinds of parts just by sticking your arms out. The chances get really high. If I fall, and I've done this a couple times where I found myself falling just because I practiced it so many times. If I sit on my butt and roll, the chances of getting hurt are much lower, right? Got a lot of padding there. Which brings me to my last one that we're going to do. This is a back break fall. This one's probably the one that I find myself using the most. And I practice it all the time. I used to practice it every time I had to get under my car to work on something or to look at something. I would do a back break fall out on the asphalt just for practice, right? If you trip over something when you're backing up, this works, and it works. It works well, okay? But you got to have it at muscle memory so that you're not just sticking your hands out. So this one works one of two ways, okay? I'm going to show you both. The first one is you start in a squat. If I'm starting in a squat, I'm going to start with my hands crossed like this. Then all I'm going to do is roll back like I'm an egg, keeping my chin close to my chest, and then I'm going to slap the ground to keep myself from rolling up onto my neck. Okay? So it looks like this. I roll back, slap. Now the other important part of this is you keep your knees apart. The reason for that is if I'm falling, if my knees are together, they have nowhere to go but smash me in the chin. If they're apart, they can at least go to either side of my head, and the chances of me smashing my head are a lot less. Okay? So the other way of doing that break fall is with a standing break fall. So when I'm doing a standing break fall, what I like to do is I'm going to put my feet shoulder width in about a haikadachi, put my hands out straight. I'm going to sit down so I'm like right on my heels, and then roll back. So it looks like this. So I'm here, I sit down, roll, and slap. Again, I never roll back far enough that I get my neck to touch the ground, and I keep my knees apart so they don't smash me in the chin. So from here, hands out, sit, roll, touch, and you can stand right back up actually. Alright? Practice these at home. And if you want to do it with the cushion, there's an easy way to do the side and back break falls with the cushions. Okay? If I've got this here, If I'm doing my side break fall, what I want to do is I'm going to put the side that I'm falling towards, I'm going to actually put that foot on the cushion. Okay? So when I start doing my break fall, basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to sit on this foot, which, you know, you can't physically do very easily because you have to turn your foot all the way around. But you'll end up sitting on this cushion. So you get your foot off the cushion, you sit down on the cushion, and then you roll. Okay? So you can do that on either side. If you're doing a back break fall, what you want to end up doing is if you line your heels up to the square or to your cushion or mat or whatever, you're going to take your feet about a half of a foot length in front of it. That'll give you some room. Then you're going to sit right on the corner of the cushion with your butt. So I sit and then roll that way. All right. Now, if you can do it with the mat, I suggest trying it at least once, nice and slow without it. That'll help build some confidence and get you where you want to be. All right. Break falls are important. Okay. The reason for that is the more we practice them, the more they become muscle memory, and the better chance they have of keeping us safe when we fall. Right. Falls happen. They happen when we're sparring. You know, if you kick too high or if you start tripping backwards because somebody's rushing you. They happen when we're doing self-defense. If somebody's throwing you or doing a takedown or something, you can do parts of your break fall to help mitigate some of that damage, right? If you've ever seen me, if somebody's working with me, get thrown or whatever, I'm always doing the slap when I hit the ground just to help kill that momentum, okay? Even if they're setting me on the floor, you'll still see me slap just so that it's a habit, okay? Practice these break falls a lot, okay? So practice them today. I broke it down for you. 30 of each for kids, 50 of each for adults, except for the side break falls, which was, I think, 10 each side or 20 each side, okay? Practice, practice, practice. Don't just like learn these once today and then forget about them, okay? Practice these whenever you have the opportunity. As I said before, when I was working on my car, I would always do a back break fall when I had to lay on the ground just for the extra practice, right? Sometimes if I want to sit on the ground, I try to do that nice slow one-legged squat thing so that I can practice my side break fall, right? So if I'm here, I got to sit on the ground. Sometimes it's just sitting down like this. That gives me the first half of my break fall and that practice without doing anything special, okay? Practice it whenever you get a chance because the more this is muscle memory, the better chance it has of helping you. So get those done. The next thing we're going to do is some self-defense, so stick around for that. Alright everybody, since I got Amanda here, we're going to do some self-defense. Today's self-defense are all going to be against a two-hand grab. Okay, so find yourself a partner, someone who can work with you. We're going to start with some easy ones. So the first one is the easiest one, so when I've taught all of you guys since you were white belts, is you're going to take one hand, you reach over the first hand, under the second hand, clap your hands together, and push them off like this. Okay? It's called the macaroni noodle. Okay? So it goes over, under, clap your hands, and push. And you can do that on either side. Alright? Practice that one with your partner back and forth a couple times. Alright? And if they're holding on a little too tight, we'll give you the next one. So if they're holding on too tight, this is the next one for you. What you're going to do is you're going to take your forearm and bring it down right on their elbows. Okay? That gets them to bend, so it brings you in nice and close for your hand or fist straight to the nose. Obviously, don't smash your partner in the face. If it's not enough and you need to keep going, then take your hand back and you can do a half fist to the throat. Okay? Nobody likes getting punched in the throat. So one more time, she comes and grabs. I'll do it on the other side so you can see it. I'm going to palm down over the top, hammer fist, and then wind up, half punch, half fist. Okay? Practice that one back and forth. Most of these you should be practicing probably 3 to 5 times at least before you move on to the next one. But the next one we're going to do is the same thing. So she grabs, and this time she's got me tight, like really tight, and I'm pretty scared of her, right? She's mean. So this time, instead of dealing with her hands and worrying about what she's doing, I'm just going to kick out her knee. So I'm going to do a front kick right to her opposite knee, and then come across with my forearm across both arms. So if I do that on the opposite side, all I'm doing here is just kicking the opposite knee and coming across. All right. Remember, knees are fragile. Don't kick your partner. You can kick as hard as you want out in front of them, but don't kick your partner. All right. So one last time, she grabs onto me. It's going to be kick the knee, forearm block across. The last one, partner, to practice with your partner is going to be a knee smash and an elbow. So she's going to grab onto me, right? Like she's jacking me up. She's coming in close, right? This one I'm just going to come up with a knee smash and an elbow, okay? And my elbow targets either the temple, the side of the nose, the side of the jaw, or if they're really short compared to me, or tall compared to me, I can aim for the collarbone, right here on this little notchy notch, right? Boom. If they're taller than you, if they're shorter than you, or the same height as you, aim for the temple, because that's the best one. So when she grabs on, it's just going to be knee smash, elbow. And I'm going to use that knee smash to wind up my elbow so that it's ready to go, all right? So practice that back and forth with your partner, 3 to 5 times each, and then we'll come back for something else. All right, so now that we're done with some self-defense, we're going to move on to some combo drills. Now, you can do this one of a couple ways. If you've got a heavy bag like I do, you can do stuff on the heavy bag. If you don't have a heavy bag, you can do it in the air. If you've got hand pads, you can do them with those. I suggest if you've got hand pads, put them on, all right? So we haven't been able to spar in over a month and a half, right? Your hand pads add a little bit of a different dynamic. They hold your hand in different ways. And, you know, so for somebody like me who has a couple different kinds, right? Sparring in your hand pads, working on in your hand pads is always a good idea once in a while, okay? If we're not sparring because we're not at class, then, you know, use your hand pads, use your stuff that you've got, keep it on, you know, just so that you get a little bit of practice with it. Today what we're going to work on is some combos. We're going to do it for speed, okay? Most of these are not sparring combinations. They're just combat combo drills, okay? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show it to you a couple times, and then I want you to do it. Okay? Your goal for each one of these sets of combos, I'm going to show you the combos. You're going to do them 50 times, okay? If you're an adult, I want you to do it 150 times. They're really easy to count. The way that I do it is I always count the last move. For example, the first one that we're going to do is punch, punch, elbow. Okay? So I always count the elbows. So, these are just, some of these are sparring drills, more of these are just fighting drills. We'll do it with the bag here just so you guys can see. If you guys are doing the Avatar Challenge, you can add these to the Avatar Challenge today because it's all combo work anyway. So if you're looking for a little bit of something extra, maybe a couple more reps instead of extra sets, this is a great one for you. But for the first one, it's just going to be punch, punch, elbow. I'm doing basically two jabs. The first one's a feeler, the second one's for power, and that elbow comes in strong. Okay? So it's just going to be punch, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on until you get to your number, okay? Then, if you get to halfway and you switch, it's the same thing. Punch, 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 okay? So keep those strong. The next one we're going to do is an uppercut and a hook punch. Now, instead of a traditional hook punch that comes to the side of the face, right? Because Isshin Ryu Karate doesn't technically have a hook punch. We have a biggie punch. So we're going to do our biggie punches and an uppercut, okay? So it's going to be a uppercut. Now this uppercut can go to the chin, but it can also go to the body, okay? I know I've told some of you guys this. Punching somebody right underneath the ribs here, that's how you get somebody to throw up, okay? If they're too busy throwing up, then they're not going to be very active in hurting you. So when I'm doing this, it's going to be an uppercut or an uppercut. So if I'm coming to the low one, it's basically a punch that I turn my fist sideways, and it's going to have this little up pop at the end. Then I'm going to swing my arm around and do my biggie punch. So it's going to be uppercut, biggie punch, and then same side, uppercut, biggie punch, uppercut, biggie punch. Okay, so you're going to end up doing 2 punches with the same hand between the combos. Okay, so uppercut, biggie punch, or uppercut, biggie punch, and then uppercut, biggie punch. Now, parents of small kids, if you're watching this, when they're doing their biggie punches, if they're trying to hit something, what they want to be hitting with is the back of these top 2 knuckles right here. My pointer finger and my middle finger. If I hit with the top of the knuckles, right, that's a traditional punch. But I'm going to hit with the back of the knuckles almost like it's a back fist. Now when I do that, I have to turn my fist all the way upside down so that I can drive in with this. Okay, so it's going to come around and in. So if you're a parent watching a kid, they can do this punch because it's not a straight punch. They're not going to hurt their hand. They're going to do it with the back of these knuckles. Now, if you're an adult and you're doing this, pay attention to where the red marks go. If they're on the back of your knuckles, that's good. If they're on the back of your whole hand, that's bad. If they're on the front of your knuckles, that's bad. All right? So pay attention to how you're hitting the bag, especially if you have a bag. Now, if you're not hitting a bag, if you're just doing it in the air, make sure that you think about the contact part that you're trying to hit with. If I think I'm trying to hit with the back of my hand, I'm less likely to turn my fist and make it a punch with my knuckles. The next one that we're going to do is a knee smash, front kick, roundhouse kick. Alright? The way that this one generally works is if you do a knee smash to somebody and they take a step back, right, then you chase them with the front kick and the roundhouse kick. Alright? Now on a bag, this becomes a little bit more difficult unless you have a swinging bag. If you have a swinging bag, you're all set. If it hangs from the ceiling, because you can do that knee smash and it's going to go back, then you can blast it with that front kick before it swings back towards you. If you have a standing bag like I do, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can either do the knee smash in the air before you do your front kick and your roundhouse kick, or you can do your knee smash and hop back with it. So it goes knee smash or a rock back, more to the point. So I rock back, front kick, roundhouse kick. Okay? That's going to be your next one. The last one is going to be an elbow, shoot hook, knee smash. So it's all with one side of my body. Elbow, shoot hook, knee smash. Okay? So I'm going to practice it with both sides. Elbow, shoot hook, knee smash. So those are the 4. Punch, punch, elbow, uppercut, biggie punch, knee smash, front kick, roundhouse kick, and elbow, shudo, grab, knee smash. Practice each one of those. All right, go through them your number of times. I believe I said 50 for everybody and 150 for adults. Practice on both sides, so split it up nice and even. That's 25 and 25 for kids or 75 and 75 for adults, right? And get that combo in there. You want to work on your speed. You want to be fast doing these. Okay? If you got a bag and you can put some power behind it, get some power behind it. If you got gloves and you want to put your gloves on, put your gloves on. Okay? Do what works for you, but make sure what works for you is working you. Okay? You should be sweaty by the time you're done with these. When you're all done with that, we got a couple of announcements. I'll just give them to you now. But make sure you guys are getting those done today. So announcements. Our Zoom class is on Friday. We're going to have the kids class from 5 to 5:40, adult class from 5:50 to 6:30 like always. But this week is special because we got Sensei Bill coming in. He's going to be joining in our Zoom class and doing he's going to be participating in the class, and then he's running his own little seminar afterwards from 6:30 to 7. So make sure you stay tuned for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We're also doing another guest instructor on May 22nd. Sensei Kelly Sear, who is an 8th degree black belt, is going to be running the kids and adult class on that day. So that's going to be pretty fun, just to give you guys something a little bit different. Now, if you guys are an adult, pay attention because I'm going to be sending out a link to Sensei Scott over at SNS Martial Arts. He's been doing Zoom classes, and he has reached out an invitation for us to be able to join in with his classes too. That's on Monday nights and Wednesday nights. I believe it's from 7 to 8. I went to one on Monday. It was awesome. So if you guys are interested in that, I will be sending that out, but that's really geared towards adults. So if you're like Nick, Nadia, you guys should be all set. Oksana, maybe you could try. But if you're younger than that, you probably want to hold off on those. The last announcement I got for the moment is our Avatar Challenge. This is the 6th, so we're 6 days in. It's going pretty good. You guys, make sure you guys are working out, and if you guys are doing the challenge with me, make sure you guys like fill out your little stat sheet at the end of the workout and throw it up on Facebook. Send it to me in a text message or something. I'll throw it up on Facebook, because I love to see that you guys are doing this with me. All right. Other than that, it was a short video but a long class. Make sure you guys are getting all those reps in today. All right. Other than that, I got nothing. You guys are awesome. Keep up the good work. You are dismissed.